All right, great. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Camarillo State of the City Luncheon. We want to thank Spanish Hills for hosting us today. My name is Laura Mullen, and I am the chair of your Camarillo Chamber Board of Directors for the Camarillo Chamber of Commerce. Thank you so much for joining us today. We have a lot of really exciting news in store, so I'm glad that you made the time to be with us and to hear from our mayor and the state of our city today. So please welcome the Honorable Charlotte Craven, the mayor of Camarillo. Thank you.
Well, first of all, I'm afraid I'm not going to be able to talk as fast as Laura. Someone once said, if heaven had a zip code, it would be Camarillo's. In the next half hour, I plan to tell you how we work to keep it the most beautiful, well-run, and most fiscally sound city in the county, maybe the state. In June, the City Council adopted a balanced budget of $146.1 million for the city and the sanitary district. On your chair were budgets in brief. They are handouts that tell you about the city's revenues and expenditures. Take it home. It is also on the city's website, www.cityofcamarillo.org. On the screen are two pie charts, one of citywide revenues, the other of citywide expenditures. For the general fund, the green slice of the pie, revenues and transfers in exceeded expenditures and transfers out by about $500,000. For fiscal year 18-19, general fund revenue totals $40.4 million, which is in line with last year. The two largest sources of income for the general fund are property tax and sales tax. They're about $14 million each. Smaller sources are franchise taxes, the hotel tax, and business fees at about $2.5 million each. On the expenditure pie chart, you can see that the general fund expenditures are budgeted at $37.6 million for 2018-19, with the largest amount going for police services at 42% of the budget, or $17.5 million. That's of the general fund budget. Let's dig deeper into general fund revenue, starting with sales tax. Since I've been on the City Council, we have greatly diversified our sales tax base. Before Home Depot, Target, and the outlets came to town, we depended on a handful of stores in a few shopping centers and Unity Buying Service. Currently, consumer goods account for about 36% of the sales tax revenue. For the first quarter of this year, sales tax was up about 5.5% over the same period last year, and we hope the economy continues to grow. People often say, you ought to be able to do this or that with all the property tax I pay. You need to know that we only get a very small portion of what you pay. Before Proposition 13 passed in 1976, many cities levied taxes of 16%, 12% or so of the assessed valuation. AB 8 implemented Prop 13, and it froze those levies forever. At the time, the cities of Camarillo, Thousand Oaks, and Simi Valley were no property tax cities, meaning we got none of the property tax. 20 years later, the California Contract Cities Association got that changed, giving the three Ventura County cities 4.5% of the property tax that people pay. That's what we still get. 33% of our general fund revenue is from the property tax. We expect a slight uptick in property tax this year because there's a 2% automatic increase allowed by Prop 13. There's changing valuations because of development. And also, there are increased valuations when property is sold. The city's financial position remains excellent. We have our Standard & Poor's AAA rating. From an economic development standpoint, Camarillo has a good mix of commercial, retail, jobs, and housing. Economic development is what drives economic growth, creating jobs and maintaining Camarillo's quality of life. Last night, the City Council adopted an economic development strategic plan which provides the framework to guide Camarillo's economic development policies and programs during the next 5 years. The goal is to foster high-quality economic growth by focusing on business retention, business development and expansion, entrepreneurial support, and enhanced customer service. The plan was developed with extensive community input. It's intended to be flexible, to adapt to economic conditions, and a communication plan will be developed to ensure that residents, businesses, and potential businesses are aware of the outstanding business climate and economy in Camarillo. While we strive to attract new businesses, we also work hard to assist and retain existing businesses. Before I list the development projects, I want to explain the laws that began as initiatives adopted by a majority of the voters that form the framework for approval and issuance of development allotments and building permits. The first was adopted in 1981 and is known as Measure A, our growth control ordinance. Under it, we may award up to 400 allotments for residential units a year. Low-income units are exempt. Measure A did not control commercial or industrial, only residential development. The two things about allotments are, first, we may award up to 400 per year, but some years we haven't had requests for any. And two, builders do not have to pull building permits when allotments are awarded. They can save them up until the time is right to build. The graph on the left shows we awarded 0 allocations in 2008 and 9. And during the Great Recession from 2007 to 9, we issued a total of 18 allotments. The graph on the right shows how the Great Recession affected construction from 2007 all the way to 2014. Note that from 2009 to 13, a total of 5 houses were built. But as the economy rammed up to a boom, we saw pent-up allotments turn into construction and housing popped up, and is still popping. The curb SOAR initiatives were adopted more recently, which do not allow annexations except for government uses without a vote of the people. This is a general plan map. The city has not grown outward very much since it incorporated in 1964, but we have annexed islands and peninsulas. With all that in mind, the residential projects under construction are Teso Robles with 129 townhomes on Camino Ruiz, Andorra with 450 apartments on the former 3M site, Park West with 87 townhomes on the former 3M site, Shea Homes with 281 senior restricted homes at the seminary, and Aldersgate mixed-use project on Ventura Boulevard with 23 apartments above 6,000 square feet of commercial. Oakmont Senior Living and Village at the Park is grading right now. The Springville specific plan was adopted by the City Council in 2008 during the Great Recession. Remember that slide with saved up allotments? The Great Recession hit right here, and these are the allotments that were saved up. Comstock Homes nears completion of 216 single-family homes and 99 townhomes. KB Home has 130 townhomes. 4 Property has 103 affordable senior apartments. They have another 163 apartments, as well as a mixed-use facility with 50 apartments above 6,000 square feet of commercial. Non-residential projects in the mill include Polar Industries' 24,000 square foot building next to Institution Ale and St. John's Pleasant Valley Hospital's new addition. Holiday Inn Express and Suites redid its exterior, and Fairfield Inn and Suites is completely renovating what used to be Holiday Inn Express. By the way, our most recent hotel occupancy figure is 80%. That's pretty full. If you're curious, Waterdrop's Car Wash is in plan check for the former Coco's site. Zephyr Development plans to build 54,000 square foot industrial building north of the airport, and a Cracker Barrel restaurant will open next spring in the promenade at the Outlaws. One reuse project is Kids Stream in the old library. They are working on a conditional use permit application and hope to raise enough money for a children's museum. We're nearing the end of negotiations with the Archdiocese for the old firehouse. And further down Ventura Boulevard, the council yesterday toured the old courthouse and will determine if it has a future government use. Last December, we approved plans for Mian Plaza and Conference Center on Ventura Boulevard near Las Posas Road. It will have a 155-room Embassy Suites and a 122-room Home 2 Suites, both Hilton brands. There will also be a 750-seat conference center, 1,650 square feet of restaurant space, and 9,300 square feet of retail space. They will start the Home 2 Suites soon after the drainage channel is complete. And that brings me to Public Works. This is the Camarillo Hill Drain. The current project will replace 1,000 square feet of open concrete channel with precast box culverts, which will then be covered for parking and become the parking for the hotel and conference center. A related project will continue the box culvert under Ventura Boulevard to replace a deteriorating one. High-level street maintenance and landscaping add greatly to the beauty of our city. Street maintenance consists of either slurry seal or overlaying. Last fall, we slurried 71 lane miles of streets and overlaid 18 lane miles. This year, we plan to slurry 129 lane miles and overlay 14 lane miles at a cost of $9 million, $1.2 million of which is from SB 1 money. When you vote on Prop 6 in November, think about this. The ads say that if you vote yes on Prop 6, you're going to remove the property tax, and that's not so. It would remove only the 12-cent increase that started last January. And that entire 12 cents goes directly to streets and highways. None of it goes for administration, and the state cannot use it for anything else. To comply with the governor's water conservation mandate, we replaced the grass on Carmen Drive medians, as well as some of the lawn around City Hall, with low water plants. Aren't they stunning? Equally stunning are the monument sign, wall, and landscaping on Daly at the Lewis Road on-ramp. It greatly beautified that entrance to our city, and at the same time provided sound wall protection to homes from freeway noise. Some projects cost a mint and you can't even see them. That's the undergrounded utility lines behind Aldersgate mixed-use project. Eventually, all the lines along that alley will be undergrounded, but it's very, very costly. Another invisible but important project is stormwater trash excluders. The Federal Clean Water Act passed in 1972 with many parts. Some were implemented sooner than others. Early controls have really improved drinking water quality, but controls on stormwater came later into play. Our goal is to keep trash out of the storm drains so it won't flow to the ocean. This protects the beaches. The project will install trash capture devices on 129 catch basins. By now, water conservation should be a way of life for Californians. Since 2016, 35 million gallons of water have been conserved by city water customers through our toilet replacement and irrigation system retrofit program. These programs are still available to city water customers. Information is available on the city's website, www.cityofcamarillo.org. The city invested in pumps and pipelines to recycle water from our sewage treatment plant. Our wastewater is tertiary treated, which is a very high level of treatment for reuse. We sell about 2 million gallons a day. Our customers include farmers for their crops, Village at the Park homeowners associations to water their medians and parkways, and Pleasant Valley Recreation and Park District for Pleasant Valley Fields. It has taken 18 years and the desalter is finally going to happen. Property is in escrow and we hope to begin construction early next year. It will pump 4,500 acre feet of brackish groundwater a year from a mound near the library, clean it to the highest level, and deliver it to city water customers at a lower cost than Northern California water, while making us less dependent on imported water too. The plant will be west of the strawberry stand on Somas Road. The stand is going to be moved during construction, but then we're going to move it back, and they're not going to miss a single day of strawberry season. The desalter will be fully enclosed to contain noise, blending in with nearby buildings. So far, we have $15 million in state grants, and we've applied for another $13 million in federal grants. And by the way, we have money in the water fund for the city's share of the project. We contract with RATP to operate Camarillo's transit system, which provides local and regional transportation services with dial-a-ride and fixed route, including the free trolley. We just entered into a new program with the Ventura County Transportation Commission, by which community college students can get free rides to college. Camarillo has always been a contract city, contracting for more than 30 services. We contract with Burke Williams Sorensen for city attorney services, with Charles Abbott Associates for building and safety services, West Coast Arborists for landscaping services, and on down to the smallest one, which is for surveying. We believe that contracting for certain services is much more cost-effective than having all those people as direct hires. The first action of the City Council at its first meeting in 1964 was to approve the contract for sheriff's services. I knew you'd like that one, Sheriff. So here's an example of efficiency. The city owns the police station. We contract for 55 3/4 sworn officers, yet there are 77 sworn officers operating out of that building. The other 21 1/4 officers serve the unincorporated area, but we have the advantage of visibility when they're driving around. The station has several bureaus: detectives, traffic, special enforcement detail, community resources unit. We also benefit from auxiliary services provided by the Sheriff's Office, including the SWAT and K-9 teams, the bomb team, major crimes and narcotics investigators, and the air unit, just in case they need them for backup. Here are the crime statistics for the first 6 months of 2018 compared to the first 6 months of 2017. Red numbers indicate an increase over last year, while black numbers indicate a decrease. We've seen a drop in all categories except one, resulting from several factors. One is proactive enforcement. Another is increased use of technology, such as small motion-sensitive cameras that help solve and reduce burglary cases by capturing license plates of suspects' vehicles, leading to arrests and convictions. Increasing probation searches, conducting intelligence debriefings. With ILP, 2 subjects were identified who were responsible for numerous thefts from vehicles, vehicle burglaries, and residential burglaries. One pled guilty and was sentenced to 6 years, 8 months in prison, but information gained from the ILP debriefings also helped to solve numerous other crimes. Look at the numbers. I call your attention to the red category, rape, which is the only category that shows an increase. The 9 reported cases were committed by people known to the victims, either acquaintances, intimate partners, or family members. Despite this increase, no trend has been identified. Given the serious opioid epidemic, both locally and nationally, we work to keep unused and expired drugs off the streets. We began our drug collection program in 2011 with a strong box in the lobby of our police department. 5 days a week during normal business hours, people can bring their expired and unused prescriptions or over-the-counter meds, all tossed into a Ziploc bag, and drop them in this box. No questions asked. Twice a year, deputies take the program to Leisure Village. I am amazed by how much is collected. So far this year, they've collected 1,345 pounds, and they consistently collect more than 2,500 pounds of medications every year. That's 1.25 tons of itty-bitty pills. We monitor the effect of Prop 47, which classified several nonviolent felonies to misdemeanors. A recent study by the nonprofit, nonpartisan Public Policy Institute of California found that Prop 47 has led to an increase in property crime statewide. So it's imperative to maintain or increase proactive policing efforts to continue our success in bucking this statewide trend. Our police department is assisted by 75 volunteers, 18 in the DART, or the Disaster Assistance Response Team, 27 in Citizens Patrol, and 30 explorers. These people donate thousands of hours every year, and they help tremendously. Now let's walk down the street to the Camarillo Public Library. It's been 11 years since our library opened, and 7 years since we contracted with LS&S to operate it. Since then, 2.7 million visitors have walked through the doors. When we voted to build the library, a lot of speakers came and said it was a big waste of money. The world was moving to technology, and within 10 years, nobody would go to a library. Boy, were they wrong. We have issued nearly 83,000 library cards since then. We have 139 library volunteers, and 257,000 patrons have participated in more than 8,500 programs. What kind of programs? Last year alone, 2,400 school children received homework help. Patrons spent 1,100 hours learning in the adult literacy program, and more than 2,500 people participated in the English as Second Language classes. Almost 800,000 items were checked out last year, and there were 1,224 programs and events, from the Children's Summer Reading Program to the Chinese New Year Festival. We might live in a digital age, but people from all over the county are flocking to the Camarillo Library. You might know that Rancho Campagna High School was built with technology in mind. It has all the bells and whistles, but no library. That void was covered by the city when it invested nearly $1 million to move and upgrade the young adults area, which opened in December. It was designed for young adults with tech-friendly study spaces, computers, and large screens for videos and gaming. Hundreds of teens come monthly. We feel it was money well spent. The Russell Fischer Business Collection was made possible by a generous bequest from Mr. Fischer. It provides resources needed by today's business community and is a popular and vital resource for local businesses and nonprofits. Material is offered in many formats, from books and magazines to electric databases and digital video libraries. The collection partners with others to host programs and outreach events. Partners include 805 Startups, Chamber of Commerce, CSU Channel Islands, EDC VC, Faros Center for Innovation, Women's Economic Ventures, and SCORE, the Service Corps of Retired Executives. Since 2015, the Russell Fischer Business Collection has held 300 programs and outreach events attended by more than 10,000 business people. We are proud of our library, and others are too. It is ranked #1 on TripAdvisor's top 10 things to do in Camarillo, even outranking the outlets. The city provides many services and programs that residents enjoy, and I'm just going to list a few. We contract with Clean Harbors to collect household hazardous waste on the second consecutive Friday and Saturday of each month. This year alone, 100,000 pounds of hazardous waste has been collected. That includes fluorescent bulbs, batteries, motor oil, pesticides, antifreeze paint, pool and garden chemicals, broken TVs, and old computers. It's by appointment only. To schedule an appointment, go to the city's website, www.cityofcamarillo.org. Oh, we do collect small batteries at City Hall, the library, and also the senior center. We also partner with others for programs that residents enjoy. The most popular are concerts in the park put on by the Camarillo Arts Council. We also assist the Pleasant Valley Lions Club with the 4th of July fireworks show. And just as important is the Senior Nutrition Program, operated by the Camarillo Healthcare District, which serves meals to qualified and enrolled homebound seniors. A new program is the Community Choice Aggregation. As members of the Clean Power Alliance, a joint powers authority made up of 31 local governments, all Camarillo businesses and residential customers will soon have a choice of energy provider: Southern California Edison or the Clean Power Alliance. Remember, all electric customers will automatically be switched to the Clean Power Alliance unless they opt out. Camarillo residents and businesses will hear more about this starting next month, so pay attention to the letters you receive. We also partnered with the Department of Defense to honor Vietnam veterans. Camarillo is the only city in the county to have signed on to this 3-year commitment. So far, we have held 5 programs to thank these veterans for their service to our country. The 6th and final program will be November 10th at 10 o'clock in Constitution Park. It will be a combined program to honor Vietnam veterans and to dedicate a new Veterans Monument, which will stand behind the current memorial on the corner in Constitution Park. It will list the names of veterans from this area who died in World War II, the Korean conflict, Vietnam, and the Gulf Wars. I've talked long enough, and I'll wrap up by saying that our city is moving forward in a positive direction and is one of the most desired cities around for people to live, work, and raise a family. Any questions? Don't see any.
Thank you so much, Mayor Craven. We appreciate you and your service and your overview. Clearly, you did an excellent job. We have no questions. So thank you so much for your time and for giving us the state of the city today.